Alright, due to some issues, we weren't able to do the SmarkCast live, but I finally got some time to do it. It's like 12 a.m., but I got some time to do it. I had to do a few things first. It's going to be a short one, just going to be my quick review of Raw. There's really not much to review on Raw, and the Night of Champions predictions. Pretty easy. No Ring of Honor this time. Just hasn't been anything going on in Ring of Honor to talk about other than the Ring of Honor TV show, which is always great. So I'll go ahead and get this started. Simple review of Raw. Usually they pull out all stops when it comes to a go home Raw, but on this one they didn't do it. It was a very messy Raw. It was weird booking decisions and just didn't make a whole lot of sense. There's a couple of good matches. Other than that, I mean, it barely even built up anything for the upcoming pay-per-view. First up, we started off with a Paul Heyman promo, we had a lot of Paul Heyman in this Raw, which was really good because Paul Heyman always puts on a good show. I'm okay with Paul Heyman being alone for the whole 3 hours. So the Paul Heyman stuff was cool, minus the Khali stuff. But it all started with a weird booking decision, and Cena is going to kidnap Paul Heyman pretty much, and he's going to beat him up if Brock Lesnar doesn't show up, which is a real heel move anyway. But it was he'll show up at halftime. Now at halftime, I thought he meant half of Raw. No, he meant half of Monday Night Football. He meant halftime. Right there was a weird booking decision. Even acknowledging the competition is odd. So we started off on a weird thing. Next we had Jericho versus Kane, which a lot of people crapped on this match, but I thought it was actually decent. I thought it was really good. It felt like a kind of an old school style, almost WCW style match, and Jericho as always puts on a show, and it was a decent match. I don't see why people were so upset by it. The next one was Jack Swagger versus Bo Dallas, and they actually let Bo Dallas go more than 4 minutes. And it was almost a collective gasp of, oh, wait a second, Bo Dallas can actually wrestle. This is weird, because people started getting behind Bo Dallas as the match started going, because he can actually wrestle, and they don't really give him enough credit for what he does. But they let him go. They let him go for, I think it was 8 minutes, and it was a decent match. It was actually something that I wouldn't mind seeing more of in the future. Whenever they announced whenever they started, planting the seeds of a Swagger versus Bo Dallas match, I was not into it at all. I said, no, this is going to be dumb, because I thought they were only going to let them have 4-minute matches, but they just let them have a really good match, and it was actually decent. I expect this to happen more. In fact, I think they'll have a match at Night of Champions probably. And then we had a Bellas segment. Honestly, wasn't really paying attention. It was Brie Bella and AJ versus Paige and Nikki, I think, or something like that, and which had potential to be something, but instead they made it all about the Bellas. And the best part was Paige and AJ afterwards, and I don't know, it was weird booking, because they're making this whole Bellas segment overtake the Divas title, and that shouldn't be happening. Divas Championship should be number one, not two people who are on a fake reality show. And it's just, I hate how they're just doing this feud to appease E! Entertainment or to appease the reality show. I just hate it, and I hate the Bellas because. And it's not really that I hate them. I hate the fact that both of them show so much potential. Nikki on the mic, and even though she's a horrible actress, and Brie in the ring, she's actually shows potential. The problem is they've never evolved past potential. They've never went anywhere above that for years. They've been stuck at, oh, they've got potential, but I can't get into them. I can't get into the Bellas. I can't get into this feud. I said it would happen. I said that Nikki would turn on Brie, and then we'd start a Nikki and Brie feud, and it would be awful. I said it would happen, and it did. After that, we had a 6-man tag, which was Usos and Sheamus versus Goldust, Stardust, and Cesaro. And everyone on Twitter was like, wow, this is actually a really good match. And I can't help but just think, how can you be surprised by this? How can you be surprised by the Usos, Goldust, Stardust, Cesaro, and Sheamus putting on a good match? That's 6 dudes who have time and time again put on great matches, and you guys are really surprised. And it was great. But all this was to further the storylines of what we're going to get at Night of Champions. The next one we got was let's see. We then halftime happened, and we got Cena and Lesnar, and they finally actually kind of brawled for a little bit, which was pretty cool. But the main thing I learned out of all of this is I'm not cheering for Brock Lesnar because of Brock Lesnar. I'm cheering for Brock Lesnar because of Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman is the sole reason why I like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is good in the ring, and he's a force to be reckoned with. It's really cool what they're doing with him. I hate the fact that he has the championship, but the main event scene's so muddy right now. Who else are you going to pick? But I'm really all about Paul Heyman. I'm like, yeah, when Lesnar shows up, I know Paul Heyman's close behind, and I get to see Paul Heyman. So, and in reality, I mean, this whole second match here, this hasn't even been Cena versus Lesnar. This has been Cena versus Heyman. And I know this is going to be a more hotly contested match. I know that this isn't going to be a squash again like it was last time, but still, I would rather see Heyman for some reason. I wish Heyman could wrestle because it'd be great. After that, we had Ziggler and Miz, another Ziggler and Miz segment, which really it was R-Truth and Dolph Ziggler versus Miz and Damian Sandow because of the whole stunt double thing, which is kind of stupid, but it's probably the most entertaining thing R-Truth has done in years. I'm just glad that this feud's going to end at Night of Champions. I don't know who Ziggler's going to go against next, but at least it's not The Miz. I just can't stand The Miz. He is annoying on the mic. He's not very good in the ring. I mean, there's just I think it's almost beneath Ziggler. But it's all. But it was weird. I don't know why they chose The Miz to win the Intercontinental Championship to begin with. It was stupid. After that, we got probably one of the weirdest booking decisions in a long, long time. It was actually 2 booking decisions. But first we had Reigns versus Rollins. A match that's going to happen in 6 days. And they let him go, which I'm not complaining about the match because actually the match was fantastic, and it's proving that Rollins can actually put on a match with anybody and make it look good. He's kind of CM Punk in that way. He can face literally anyone and make it look good. But the fact that this match took place and there was a definitive ending, a solid, clean ending, 6 days before they're going to fight again tells me that there's not going to be a clean ending coming up on the pay-per-view. Reigns got a clean win over Rollins, pinned him. So, it was a great match. That's all I can say. And then we went into part 2 of the weirdest booking decisions in Raw history when Mark Henry and Rusev closed out Raw. I mean, when they even announced it, I was like, oh, cool, they're going to have an interference with somebody. Someone's going to debut. Something crazy is going to happen. No, it was straight up Henry and Rusev. If you go back and watch Raw, rewind it a little bit, watch the crowd. The crowd's actually leaving. They're like, oh, this is how they're going to end it? Yeah, screw it. Let's get out of here. And, I mean, no one really cares about this feud. I mean, I want to see it just because I like seeing two behemoths go at it, and it's just going to be a powerhouse match. But the feud I don't really care about, and it's another one of those feuds where they kind of painted themselves into a corner, because no matter who wins, WWE loses. With Mark Henry, they've painted a new thing where this is his second chance to show America what he can do. He lost at the Olympics. He didn't show up at the Olympics, or he couldn't do the Olympics because he was injured. This is his second chance, and he's going to prove to America that how much he loves the country. And then you're going to have him lose to Rusev, and that's kind of going to kill all momentum and make this feud absolutely worthless. That's not a good thing. Or if you have Henry triumph and beat Rusev, sure, you get that crowd reaction, but that kind of destroys all of Rusev's momentum. He needs to keep beating people, and he needs to keep winning if you're going to paint him as a monster. So, all in all, weirdly booked Raw. Not necessarily a bad Raw, but not necessarily a good Raw. I mean, it was half and half, man. It was like 5 out of 10. It just 90 minutes of it were great. 90 minutes of it were crap. So once again, I mean, for I think that's like 4 weeks in a row, Raw has been a massive failure. I don't know what's going on right now, but WWE needs to get their butt in gear, man. WWE is not bringing their A game. And the problem with that is that they don't really have anyone to bring. The main event scene is just crap right now. Like, once Lesnar beats Cena at Night of Champions, they are literally at a point to where there is nothing they can do. There is no one else that can go against Brock Lesnar because they haven't built anyone up enough. The dirt sheets are saying it's Big Show, and I'll ask anybody right now, do you want to see the Big Show versus Brock Lesnar? Is that really what you want? I mean, and beyond that, what are we going to get next? Corporate Kane? I mean, there's no one right now. Until Daniel Bryan comes back, there is no one. And personally, I think they're going to actually, whenever Daniel Bryan does come back, I think they're going to have Lesnar beat him, which would be horrible. I mean, there's even rumors that Cena is going to win at Night of Champions, only to have Brock Lesnar take it back a few months later, because it's more, it makes more sense to have Cena fight the same dudes over and over and over again than it does for Brock Lesnar to destroy everyone. So, I don't know. Not looking forward to the upcoming main event scene when Daniel Bryan comes back and gets his championship back, or when Roman Reigns win it. I'll be back, but I'm kind of about that right now. So, however, Night of Champions is stacked. Night of Champions actually looks decent. I'm really excited. I'm not really excited for it. I'm more looking forward to it. But I look forward to all the pay-per-views. I'll tell you this, I look much, much more forward to NXT TakeOver than I did this, because NXT TakeOver was awesome. Off the charts, amazing. That was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a while. So, but Night of Champions is what we're talking about. I'm going to give my predictions. There are 8 matches scheduled right now. There is no match scheduled for the pre-show. They're going to go with Christian and Jericho are going to do a thing together, which is I'm okay with, because I've always loved Christian. I've loved Christian more than Edge, but Edge got the rub because, you know, he is more charismatic. But either way, there's a lot of people who didn't get the rub, like William Regal, Dean Malenko, Ricky Steamboat. There's a lot of people like that who never got the championship, never had like the main event WrestleMania matches, but are still awesome. And I think Christian's up there with those names. So I'm actually excited to see Christian return. But I don't know the order of the matches. I'm just going in the order that WWE.com had them listed. So I'll start with Paige, Nikki, and AJ. One of the matches that I'm not that looking forward to. I'm tired of them making AJ and Paige take a back seat to the Bellas. It doesn't make any sense to me, and it would not surprise me one bit if Brie got put into this match somehow and made it a 4-way. But and I will tell you this, that if Nikki wins this, if Nikki walks out with this title, I will not watch anything having to do with the Divas division until she is no longer holding that title. So it will be bathroom breaks and commercial time, or bathroom breaks and football anytime Nikki Bella is on the screen with a belt. But that's not my prediction. My prediction is Paige retains. Paige has held it long enough. It's time for her to hold on to it. And hopefully, after this is over, they push Nikki and Brie off to the side and let them have their feud over here, while Paige and AJ finish off their feud, which they've never got to finish. I think they have one more match, and I think it needs to be a gimmick match, like a ladder match or a table match. I know they're really scared to have the Divas do this, but they need it. It's needed. So I'm saying Paige retains. Next we have Sheamus and Cesaro. There are a few people who are not looking forward to this because they hate Sheamus, but I'm a fan of Sheamus, and I think him and Cesaro can put on a great match. There's no point in Sheamus having that title, and that's why I say Sheamus will lose and Cesaro will hold on to this title, and hopefully they'll book it right where he'll actually defend the title and make this title mean something again. Personally, I think Cesaro needs to have this title for a little bit and turn face and start representing it as the United States title, and I think Rusev needs to beat him for it. And then Rusev needs to take it and turn it into like the Russian title or something like that and put Putin's face on it. Be great. So I think Cesaro takes this title because there's no sense in Sheamus having it. Next we have Henry and Rusev. Like I said, they've painted this one into a corner. Whoever wins, WWE loses. But I think the road that will cause the least amount of damage is Rusev winning. And it's time for the younger guys to go over the older guys right now. Rusev wins this. We need some heel wins anyway. After this, I know I'm sounding like a broken record. Usos versus Stardust and Goldust. I've been saying for the past 4 pay-per-views that the Usos are going to lose their belts, and I'm going to say it again. Stardust and Goldust are going to walk out with the championships because it needs to happen. The Usos need to lose these titles. There's just no point in them having this anymore. They've beaten everybody. Let them have the belts and then move on. My thing is maybe have the Usos get their rematch on Raw and have them lose it again thanks to the Ascension, and have the Ascension and Usos have a thing while Goldust and Stardust go defend it against someone else. They need the Ascension to come in, but I don't want to see them thrown directly into the title picture because people who know me know that I'm not fully invested in Ascension. I don't think they've proved anything that they're awesome or anything like that because they only beat jobbers. But that's not the point because who knows when that's going to happen. The point was Stardust, Goldust are your new champions. I think they're gonna pull it off. Next up we have Ziggler and Miz. Once again, I don't care about this. I care about this match only because I get to see Ziggler wrestle, and that's what I like. But I don't care about the Miz. So Ziggler wins and retains his title. The Miz goes and does whatever else. Ziggler moves on. There was a rumor going around that Ziggler's next feud was against Bray Wyatt. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And Ziggler's would have had it long enough to maybe Bray wins and gets a title. I'd be all right with that because Ziggler could maybe move on to something else. Next is a match that I think is going to be amazing. Everyone, and there's a lot of people who think Orton is not interesting and he's very boring. I think they're all full of crap because Orton is straight up going to be a legend whether you like it or not. Orton Jericho. This is Jericho's last match before he goes back with Fozzy. So Orton takes this one pretty easily. Orton needs it more than Jericho because Orton has been on a major losing streak and he needs to show that dominance again. Bring it back up a little bit, and no more putting him in there with Reigns because Reigns has to win that match. But Orton wins that. And speaking of Reigns, it's Reigns versus Rollins. This one's going to be the bold prediction match. I predict it's going to be an awesome match, but the ending, I think that Reigns will win it by DQ. I think this will be Rollins will have someone interfere, probably Kane or Randy Orton, one of the two, and they'll start beating down Reigns, and Ambrose will come in for the save. This will be Ambrose's return, and will lead to a Ambrose versus Rollins in a Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell, and that will probably end the feud. So Reigns wins that one by DQ. Finally, Lesnar and Cena. This will be not such a short as short a match as it was last time. It won't be a beatdown it was last time. This will be a more contested match, but Cena will still lose it. He'll either lose it or someone will interfere, and Lesnar will keep the title anyway. Either way, Lesnar's walking out with the title because that's the way it needs to be. Cena doesn't need the title. Lesnar shouldn't have the title, but like I said, who else? So that's about it. It's Paige, Cesaro, Rusev, Goldust, and Stardust, Ziggler, Orton, Reigns, and Lesnar. Those are your winners, or who I'm predicting your winners will be. We'll know this Sunday. Sorry if I've been really slow or messing up a lot, but I am extremely tired. But I promised I would get the SmarkCast out tonight, which it's technically tomorrow. But anyway, if you have any emails, it is smarkcast@gmail.com, and you can follow me on Twitter @SmarkCast. Yes, I did change it. It's no longer minus Darren. It is @SmarkCast. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I am SmarkCast.